Hello everyone. Today we have the guest of an EPR expert, the director of Social Labs, Shailesh.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. So Shailesh, kindly introduce yourself as what kind of business you are doing and how you came into this plastics or EPR or consulting, because your background is IT background.
Right.
So how you change over?
See, it's a long story. As you mentioned, I am a computer engineer.
Yeah.
I did my computer engineering in 2010. After that, I was working with Tata Consultancy Services in Hyderabad
Okay.
for 3 years. So at that time, I had this feeling that I want to do something on my own. I don't want to be in a job for rest of my life. And simultaneously, I wanted to do some post graduation. That's
Okay.
where I found a college in Mumbai called as Tata Institute of Social Sciences.
Okay.
And from there, I did my master's in social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And there, I started getting ideas what we can do, what can be the business, etc., etc. So it was not a pre-planned thing that I'll come in plastic waste, EPR, and these things. So when I was in TIS, I met my current partner, Rahul, and there we were the classmates, and we did our first startup back in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a micro donation platform for raising funds for NGOs. We ran it for 1.5 years and then we closed it. After that, Rahul did some other jobs and I did some other jobs. I started preparing for UPSC.
Okay.
Yeah, I did give 2 attempts, and from the start it was kind of fixed for me that I'll not give more than 2 attempts.
Okay.
So 2018 I appeared for the mains, and in 2019 I gave the interview, but I could not clear it. Till that time, Rahul was working with some waste management agency in Sambhajinagar,
Okay.
and he started working in 2017. And in 2018, when we met again, he had kind of decided that there is an opportunity in waste management sector
Okay.
and we should start our own company. But as I was occupied with UPSC, I did not commit anything to him, and he started Social Lab. And when my results came, I joined him.
Okay.
So that's how we explored our journey. We found that there is some opportunity in waste management sector, and we started. So
Okay.
it was not pre-planned.
You have a very diversified journey.
Yes.
First, IT sector, computer engineering, UPSC, then into waste management
Yes.
in social labs. So, how you feel about the social labs or this environment point of view, uh, from IT sector to waste management? What motivated you to be in this business?
See, I don't look at the job from the perspective that you are sharing. For me, what is important that what is the problem that I am working on.
Okay.
So in IT, I was working on problems of some other companies. Here, I am working on problems related to environment.
Right.
The way I am groomed in my education as well as professional life, this consulting profile suits me.
Okay.
So whatever is the problem, I look at it from a consulting point of view. Right now, my domain is waste management and EPR. So we didn't start because we want to do something in waste management. We started because there is an opportunity. There are some problems which need attention, and maybe our qualification, our line of thinking will be able to help us in solving those problems.
Okay.
So this was the basic idea, and I believe that my study of UPSC for 2 years has helped us a lot.
Okay.
Because from understanding the plastic waste management rules from the scratch, when we started EPR in 2018, it was new for everyone.
Yes.
No one knew what is EPR. So we had to understand the rules from the gazette, then explain it to people. You know how is our manufacturing sector. So we had to explain that to people who are working in hardcore manufacturing. We had to explain that to recyclers. We had to explain that to waste pickers. We had to explain that to government officers also, Pollution Control Board, Urban Development Department. So there we could utilize our skills. Maybe my training in IT also helped us. How do we articulate a problem? How do we articulate our position in a certain way? And that's how we started.
Okay.
So that was the beginning. But when you say what motivates me, then there are clearly two things. I am able to see what I'm contributing. We are in the last 6 years, we have helped more than 600 companies to fulfill their compliances. Before COVID, we were actually involved in collection of plastic waste.
Okay.
And its scientific disposal. At that time, we had channelized more than 50,000 tons of plastic waste from multiple municipal councils. So I know to what level I am contributing. Right now, the business model has changed because of the compliances. The compliances have changed. That's why we have to shift away from channelization of plastic waste directly.
Okay.
But indirectly, we are involved in that. So this impact definitely is one factor that motivates us. Second factor is support from the customers. When we started in 2018, we did not have any customer. There were few people who believed in us and gave the work to us, because at that time EPR was new for everyone. There was no established player, and some MSME manufacturers in Sambhajinagar believed in our capacities. But from that point till now, we have onboarded more than 600 customers, and it has been mostly possible because of word of mouth.
Right.
So customers give good feedback, customers give positive feedback, and they appreciate our work. That is a motivating factor more than anything else right now. So that is helping us continue and expand our services.
So can you explain your nature of business? Like in consulting, EPR credits, and how you provide the solution?
See, nature of our business had changed in the last 6 years. In the first 3 years, that is before COVID, we were basically involved in everything. The rules, let us say, if the rules say a particular company has to do 10 things as per the compliance, we were required to take responsibility for everything. And that also involved collection and channelization of plastic waste until it is scientifically disposed.
Okay.
But after COVID, the rules have changed, and even today also we are responsible for end-to-end compliance of the customers, but the requirements of the customers have changed.
Okay.
Now most of the customers need support only in terms of consulting.
Okay.
What a particular customer is required to do. Let us say, when we talk about compliance in plastic waste management rules, there are basically 3 steps. First, we have to collect some documents, analyze those documents, and submit an application to the government that there is a rule and we want to register ourselves. This is first kind of compliance. Second kind of compliance is once you are registered, you need to submit returns on an annual basis. So this is other activity that we do. And in some cases, customers also have requirement for plastic channelization, which is called as EPR credit. So we provide that also to our customer. So it's basically more or less related to consulting only right now. Before COVID, it was everything. Now it is mostly consulting support.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is actually the EPR concept? Because still now many people are unaware of EPR. What EPR is? अरे वो कुछ तो क्रेडिट लेना पड़ता है. इससे आगे किसी को कुछ मालूम नहीं.
Yes. See, EPR stands for extended producer responsibility. This is not an Indian concept. It was introduced in Europe back in 1990s, and it is based on another principle called as polluter pays principle,
Okay.
which basically means whoever is contributing to pollution should pay so that there is no harm to the environment.
Okay.
Based on that concept, they have launched the concept of extended producer responsibility. What extended producer responsibility means is that, let us say, this is a product. This is any product. This is not plastic. But when you go in the market and purchase this product, you get this product along with some plastic packaging.
Right.
And when you start using this product, you throw away the plastic packaging and use this product. So the moment you throw the plastic packaging away, that packaging becomes waste. And someone needs to take responsibility to ensure that the plastic which has become waste at this point should be collected and scientifically disposed.
Okay.
Now, who will take this responsibility? That's why they have launched the concept of EPR. So EPR means extended producer responsibility. And as per EPR, the company which has manufactured this product should take the responsibility for the packaging waste that is created because of this product in its entire life cycle.
Okay.
So this is the concept behind EPR. And EPR does not necessarily mean that it is applicable only for plastic. Here we are talking in general sense. Polluter pays principle. Pollution can be of any type.
Right.
It can be plastic pollution, it can be air pollution, it can be water pollution, it can be noise pollution, anything. So the way EPR applies to plastic, right now in India, EPR applies to 11 different commodities. Plastic, battery, e-waste, tire, oil, etc., etc.
Okay.
Yes. So that's a very, very broad concept. And because of this new EPR, we are also seeing a lot of growth in our business, consulting business.
Okay. And how now the EPR is applicable to in plastics? What actually, how it works, that mechanism, EPR mechanism, how it works? Like brand owner is different, raw material manufacturer is different. So then producer is different. Like if someone is manufacturing a plastic molding, if he uses polythene bags for the packaging of his product to ship it to his customer, then who is responsible for that waste?
Okay. So when we are discussing about EPR, we are discussing about the producer. There is some product which is manufactured by any company and which is being used by some consumer. So when we say producer, producer is a generic term. Brand owner, producer, manufacturer, recycler, these are technical terms which are defined in the plastic waste management rules.
Right.
But EPR is a generic concept. So producer means any company which is manufacturing any kind of product. And when that product gets manufactured and goes to the market, that company needs to take the responsibility.
Okay.
So from value chain perspective, we need to see who is sitting at the top. So when we talk about the EPR in plastic, value chain starts from the manufacturer of virgin granules. In Indian case, Reliance is one example, GAIL is another example. So these are manufacturers who manufacture virgin granules.
Right.
After they manufacture these virgin granules, they give it to some manufacturers who convert those granules into packaging items.
Right.
Those manufacturers in plastic waste management rules, they are called as producers. Reliance, GAIL, these people, they are called as manufacturers in plastic waste management rules.
Okay.
So virgin granules goes from manufacturer to producer. Producer converts that into a plastic packaging, and finally producer gives it to a brand owner. For example, Nestle, Bisleri, Dabur, these are the brand owners
Brand owners.
who are manufacturing some kind of product,
Okay.
and they need plastic packaging to sell their product in the market.
Right.
So final entity who is sitting at the top is a brand owner like Nestle, Dabur, etc., and they need to take that responsibility.
Okay.
So this is as per the concept of EPR, but again there are many nitty-gritties in the plastic waste management rules, and in some cases the responsibility shifts from the brand owner to the producer, from producer to the manufacturer, and there
Okay.
are a lot of complications within the
Okay.
rules.
And in the plastics packaging, MLP is also the part, multi-layer plastic. So in multi-layer packaging, the same EPR is applicable.
Right.
So how because MLP to recycle other plastic is much easier than the MLP. So are there any MLP recyclers?
Okay, to clarify here, EPR in India for plastic means plastic packaging.
Okay.
EPR is not there for non-packaging items. For example, crate or chairs. These are non-packaging items, and for them EPR does not apply.
Okay.
Now coming back to your question, MLP recycling happens in India. There are some recyclers. The numbers are not that much encouraging, but there are few recyclers who take multi-layered plastic and convert them into useful products.
Okay.
In some cases, they are manufacturing furniture, benches, which are put in gardens, etc., etc.
Right.
However, the data is not there in the public domain. We cannot say for sure how much of MLP is being collected, how much of MLP is being recycled, how much of that, what is the life cycle of those recycled products. This data is not yet available in the public domain. So we
Okay.
cannot say for sure. But yes, there are many recyclers who are working on this.
So in this waste management, what are your insights about current trends? So, how the waste management, is there awareness? What was previously, it was how the cycle was moving in waste management, and how currently the waste management system is working.
So we need to define things here properly. Waste management is a different domain. Circular economy, recycling, sustainability is another domain. Before COVID, as I mentioned, that we were involved in end-to-end system. We used to collect plastic and give it for scientific disposal. At that time, we were involved in waste management also.
Okay.
But now the way rules are changing, the way industry is changing itself, we can say that we are moving towards a circular economy.
Okay.
Away from waste management. Waste management is a different part.
Is the disposal of waste.
Waste management is basically how you collect, how you segregate, and how you transport waste.
Okay.
Circular economy is how do you recycle it, how do you manufacture the recycled product in a way that it gets used in other products again and again. So waste management, EPR in India is focusing more on circular economy rather than waste management.
Okay.
EPR in India is focusing more on sustainability rather than waste management. And that's how things are moving in the Indian industry.
So, in India, the plastic recycling is been for last so many years. But now, what is the change in trends in the industry currently in the recycling? Like previously, it was just mechanical recycling was the many recyclers are working from the around 1970s or so. But currently the recycling industry is also changing. So what are the new trends in the recycling?
See, the technology in recycling is changing. even in mechanical recycling, there are technologies for bottle to bottle recycling.
Okay.
Bottle to bottle means, for example, for our domestic purposes, we use floor cleaners or toilet cleaners, Domex, Harpic, etc., etc. And there are technologies which ensure that Domex can be recycled. It can be cut into pieces, small pieces, then fed to a mechanical recycling machine or a system. And whatever is the output of that mechanical recycling can again be used in the same application, which is a blow molding application, Domex or Harpic, etc., etc. So these applications have very stringent requirement.
Okay.
Color should be matched, or there should not be any odor to the recycled plastic because it will impact the product.
Right.
Right. So mechanical recycling has also evolved as per the requirements of the final plastic packaging or the requirements of the product. Apart from that, chemical recycling is also evolving today.
Right.
And there are technologies right now where even the dirtiest of the plastic coming from the municipal stream, which has all kind of odor or contamination, even that can be converted into a pure next to virgin plastic because of chemical recycling.
Huh.
Yes. So technologies are changing in recycling. So this is one thing where technology is also helping circular economy. What is happening in EPR or what is happening in India because of EPR is that recycling is getting more and more formalized.
Formalized. Okay.
Formalized. Earlier, the recyclers were operating in an informal way. They were not recognized. But because of this EPR, the entire focus has been shifting to recyclers.
Okay.
They are coming into more focus. Even they are getting funded by venture capitalists.
Oh.
Huge funding is coming because without funding, you cannot improve the quality of your recycled product. And unless and until you don't improve the quality, the market of MNCs, which is basically the packaging application, will not open up to you.
Right. So there are many new opportunities are coming up.
Yes. Earlier, as you mentioned, that recycling is happening in India since many decades. But some people call it as downcycling. For example, we use domestic containers in our homes. When those containers are scrapped, they go to a recycling system where they are converted into some other product, maybe mats or chairs, which is a downcycling as per some recyclers. What is happening right now, as I mentioned, bottle to bottle recycling, they're taking the same application and recycling that product and using in the same application.
Okay.
So this is circular economy, and this is, some people are calling this as recycling, not downcycling.
Okay.
So in this way, the industry is changing now.
Sustainability. So what are your views on sustainability?
Sustainability in general or sustainability in plastic?
In plastics. And what are your initiatives towards how you are consulting your clients on that sustainability? Because currently many people are thinking about sustainability is just a recycling. Recycling and sustainability are the recycling is part of the sustainability initiative.
So when we talk about sustainability in plastic, we need to understand what is the requirement and where the market is moving. Mostly requirement right now is coming from two different stakeholders. One is the government. Government is pushing compliances that companies need to be more and more sustainable. But there are companies who have their own initiatives irrespective of the compliance requirement, and they want to be sustainable. So when we say that someone wants to become sustainable, recycling is one part of that, because when we talk about sustainability, it is not only about plastic. It is sustainability in general.
Okay.
Sustainability in terms of environment, sustainability in terms of commercials also. So everything needs to be figured out by the
Okay.
stakeholders in order to achieve complete sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, normally we talk about it only from the environmental point of view. But sustainability from all point of view is considered by
Okay.
most of the big brands. Recycling is a major part of that because the recycling helps companies become more sustainable. Why? Because they don't have to extract virgin resources. When you stop extracting virgin resources, automatically the carbon emissions associated with those virgin resources come down, and the kind of energy or carbon emissions which are associated with recycling are very low as compared to the extraction of virgin resources.
Okay.
So in that way also recycling contributes to sustainability in plastic. So this is one thing. When you are talking about what we are doing basically, so right now in case of social lab, we are assisting our clients how they can become more and more sustainable
Okay.
as part of the compliance as well as part of their own initiatives. So
Okay.
we are helping them, we are sitting down with them, we are brainstorming with them, and we are helping them figure out what they can do as part of their sustainability initiatives, as part of the compliance also.
Okay.
There is another thing which is different from recycling and which is called as reuse. So we have to cater to this requirement of reuse. We have floated another company called as 3R Solutions, the logo that you see here on my t-shirt. Here we are helping companies, or in general we are trying to establish a reuse ecosystem in India.
Okay.
Reuse means reuse of plastic packaging in true sense.
Okay.
Whenever the product is used by the consumer, the plastic packaging gets thrown and it becomes waste. But in case of rigid plastic, like a paint container or a lubricant container or a chemical container, in these cases, because the plastic packaging is larger in volume, larger in size, possibility of reuse is more. And if companies can actually reuse that plastic, it will help them become a leader in sustainability
Okay.
because they are avoiding all kinds of emissions associated with that plastic. They are reducing their consumption of virgin plastic. They are reducing the consumption of water which is required to clean the plastic.
Right.
In that sense, they are focusing, we are trying to establish if this reuse ecosystem can be pioneered in India and how companies can take benefit from that.
Okay. In recycling, there is majorly SME sector is presently working. So, what are the opportunities and challenges for the SMEs in recycling in future?
So when you're talking about the challenges which will be faced by the SMEs in recycling, well, first challenge for them will be to figure out their compliances.
Okay.
In the last 6 years, the government has focused heavily on EPR and how the entire system becomes compliant. And this entire focus will now shift to recyclers, how the recyclers are being compliant with the pollution control board norms.
Okay.
So if the recyclers are washing the plastic and if they are not treating the dirty water, then they will face problem. So they will have to figure out their own compliances. They will have to ensure that apart from recycling, whatever is the waste that they are generating, maybe it will be water or some other contamination, that should not create any harm to the environment.
All right.
This should be their first priority. Second challenge that they will face is mostly which demand they need to cater to. Currently, they have already one set of customer where maybe they are downcycling the plastic and giving to that customer.
Right.
Maybe there is another requirement which is huge requirement. If they want to actually shift and cater to that requirement, which is the packaging sector, where the requirements about quality of the plastic in terms of different kinds of properties, tensile strength, impact, then transparency of the plastic or color of the plastic, odor of the plastic. These things are important when it comes to the packaging sector. And if some SME wants to make this shift, then they'll have to change their entire outlook.
So, what are the is there any standards in terms of recycling who will certify that yes, this company is following the good standard recycling practices?
So the first standard is the ISO standard. Whatever the recycling that you are doing, it should match the ISO standard which is set by the government of India.
Okay.
If whatever the
IS standard.
IS standard.
But is there any certification is available for that, or is just a guideline?
It's just a guideline.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So if your recycling process is as per the IS standard, then it is certified as it is recycling.
Okay.
Then this is about pure recycling. But when we are talking about sustainability, circular economy, then there are a lot of other certifications.
Like?
There is a certification called a GRS, Global Recycle Standard. It makes you accountable for the entire supply chain.
Okay.
It makes you establish the entire traceability of the plastic waste. How you are collecting plastic, how you are cleaning it, whether you are compliant or not, how you are recycling it, etc., etc. All those things get covered under GRS.
GRS.
So there are such kind of certifications. There is ocean-bound plastic certification also.
Okay.
So this is mostly for those recyclers who are working on plastic, which is ultimately going to the water bodies, ocean.
Okay.
From rivers to oceans, like that, or the recyclers who are working in the coastal areas, like that. So there is ocean-bound plastic certification also. These kind of certifications have very stringent requirements. So if the SME sector is really geared up for shifting their business towards circular economy, towards sustainability, then they need to consider about these certifications. These certifications will definitely help them gain some credibility for their business, for their product.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even in the recycled materials, the export opportunity is there?
It's already huge opportunity for export. I mean, if we go to the Plex Council, Plex Council of India, then there are many recyclers who are contributing significantly to export.
Okay.
And because of this entire focus on sustainability, circular economy, the demand for recycled plastic is growing rapidly, not only in India, but in other countries also.
Okay.
Yeah. We need to look at data, actually. There is sufficient data to prove that. The only thing is that you need to go to relevant websites like Plex Council or something else and find out what is the requirement for exports from which country.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Shailesh sir, thank you very much for coming to our podcast.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the industry will be benefited with your thoughts about recycling and sustainability, and the EPR concept. The people will get to know more. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.